Welcome, and thanks for tuning in to Bike Ride Reviews. I'm your host, Scott, and today we're taking a deep dive into the Lectric XPress 750, an e-bike that Lectric says brings unparalleled performance to a classic look. I'm a fan of how this bike looks, but will our tests show that it has the performance to back up those good looks? Well, we're about to find out. I'll start off with some info about Lectric and the XPress 750. This will be followed by our pros and cons, a deep dive into the bike's spec, and the data from our standardized testing. I'll talk about my experience on the bike, share ride footage, and finish it all off with our last word on this bike. So let's get started. Lectric is headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona. Since the founders designed their first e-bike in 2019, Lectric has gone on to sell an impressive number of e-bikes. Lectric currently offers 7 different models, including folders, full-size bikes for the road and off-road, cargo bikes, and a trike. Its popular flagship bike, the XP, comes with a folding frame, with an affordable price. With the recent launch of the XP4, the model is now in its 4th generation. I reviewed the XP 3.0 previously, and you can check out our written review on bikeride.com or jump straight to the video via the links in the video description below. Bikeride.com has reviewed 15 Lectric bikes, and you can also find those in the links below if you're interested in any of their other models. The Lectric XPress is a hybrid commuter e-bike with an 80mm suspension fork and a 27.5 by 2.1 inch wheel set. It's available as a step-through frame or step-over, both of which come with a choice of 500 watt motor and 10.4 amp hour battery, or 750 watt motor and 14 amp hour battery. Today we're reviewing the 750 watt step-over. The XPress 750 has a torque sensor for managing pedal assist, and it ships as a Class 2 e-bike with a 20 mph top speed and a thumb-style throttle. The throttle speed limit can be unlocked to 28 mph, or the throttle can be removed for full compliance with Class 1 and Class 3 e-bike rules. The XPress has the ever-important UL 2849 and UL 2271 certifications, and features IP65 weather protection. The bike doesn't come with accessories like fenders or racks, but they are available to buy. Has Lectric produced another popular and affordable e-bike, or will it falter during our performance tests? Let's explore the pros and cons to find out more. I enjoyed riding the XPress step-over. The slightly forward-leaning, athletic riding position is ideal for pedaling and makes it easy to handle the bike in turns. The 27.5 by 2.1 inch tires fit the bike's intended use as a commuter, and they cover ground faster than 20-inch wheels, with just the right mix of stability and maneuverability for urban riding. The torque sensor was responsive and tuned nicely for this motor. It never felt like the bike lacked power, even when climbing hills. Some bikes with torque sensors require huge pedal effort to get the most out of the motor, but not the XPress 750. There was plenty of power on tap, and the torque sensor responded quickly to my pedal input. This bike quickly reaches 20 mph using the throttle or pedal assist. And of course, you can easily unlock the 28 mph top speed for pedal assist. Overall, I was impressed with how fun and capable the XPress 750 was to ride. The bike's power and agile handling turned a simple commute into an exciting ride experience. The simple frame lines, clean welds, and attractive black color give the bike a nice, tidy appearance. The battery is subtly integrated into the down tube, and the XPress lacks the aggressive bulk that's seen with so many e-bikes today. The result is a trim-looking bike, which received compliments during my range tests, and enhances the overall feeling of quality. The XPress was easy to set up, and it functioned well during testing. The easy riding geometry, powerful motor, and well-tuned torque sensors made it fun and responsive. The bike is easily configured for Class 1, 2, or 3. Lectric has provided 8 presets that make it easy to tune the pedal assistance and speed in each pedal assist level to your riding style. Overall, the tuning options are a bit limited, but they're simple to use, and Lectric's user manual is much better than what you often get with e-bikes at this price point. The display is big and bright, and it has simple controls. Features like the live voltmeter and controller current meter make it much easier to monitor power consumption and battery level, which, as we'll find out in the cons, is fortunate. The quick release pedals and front axle make storage and transport much easier. The bike's 62.8 pound weight is relatively easy to lift, and with the non-fat 27.5 by 2.1 inch tires, it helps the Express fit a wide range of vehicle-mounted bike racks. Lectric makes a big deal about its Stealth M24 motor being quiet. Yeah, maybe when it's not being used. It's fairly quiet at low power levels, but when you accelerate quickly, ride at 20 miles per hour, or climb a hill, the motor whine ramps up a lot. It's louder than most hub motors that I've used. The motor also made crackling or stuttering noises, which also got louder the more that I rode. I found it very distracting. I've ridden a lot of hub motor e-bikes that make much less noise, such as Lectric's Summit 1. In addition to this bike's standard front light, Lectric included its Elite headlight, which has a stated output of 850 lux, or 4 times that of the standard light, but it costs extra. In testing, both the standard light and the Elite were dim and inadequate. Though the Elite managed to illuminate a traffic cone at 100 feet, it doesn't provide enough peripheral lighting, and I would not feel comfortable using either of these lights as my only front light at night. In addition, the rear light has no flashing modes or brake activation. So overall, this bike's lighting is pretty unimpressive. This bike's ability to estimate remaining battery power is abysmal. The battery has 10 bars, 7 green, 2 yellow, and 1 red. I expected this to be more useful than the typical 5-bar affair, but the opposite turned out to be true, with the bike giving me severe range anxiety during the first range test. After 12 miles at pedal assist 5, the meter was still showing full. Now, I hate it when e-bikes do this, because I know it means the battery level will soon take a steep dive. And sure enough, just 1 mile later, after climbing a large hill, the bars started falling like dominoes. After another 5 miles, the battery meter was showing just 5 bars. But once I was past the hills and back on level ground, the gauge jumped back up to 6 bars. At this point, I stopped to swap camera batteries, and after a few minutes idle, the bike automatically turned off. When I turned it back on a few moments later, the battery level was back at a full 10 bars. Of course, this didn't last long, and once I started riding again, the bars were soon dropping. To make it home, I changed to the voltage display and used this to monitor the state of the battery. Eventually, the battery meter falls to the last red bar, and then this red bar will start to flash to tell you that the voltage is very low. If the voltage falls below 40.8 volts, the screen starts flashing the E006 error code. However, true to this bike's nature, even this error code is erratic. If you reduce pedal pressure for a few seconds, the error code disappears, and you're left with just the flashing red bar on the battery meter. While the bike is displaying the flashing red bar and the error code, you get almost no power from the throttle. However, there's still plenty of pep from the pedal assist, with up to 400 to 500 watts of motor output showing on the display, and the bike is going up to about 16 miles per hour. In the second range test, using pedal assist 3, even with my better understanding of how the battery meter works, the bike still surprised me, and it left me stranded. While climbing a hill, the meter fell to 4 bars, went back up to 9 bars after 5 minutes on level ground, and then it fell back to 4 bars after another hill. Because of these fluctuations, I ended up 2 miles from home with a dead battery, despite using battery voltage as a second gauge. Because of the terrible battery meter, I had to push and pedal the bike home with no help from the motor. The Lectric XPress is a hybrid commuter bike with an aluminum frame and 80mm TC80 coil suspension fork, which comes with lockout and preload. In addition to our step-over frame, which comes in black, the Express is available as a step-through, which is finished in a white color. Each frame style comes in only one size, with a stated fit range of 5'2" to 6'3" for the step-through and 5'4" to 6'4" for the step-over. The riding position on the step-over is slightly aggressive, and it feels like a traditional mountain bike or straight bar commuter. The step-through, which I haven't ridden, appears to have a more relaxed upright fit. The Express also comes with 2 choices of motor and battery, both 48-volt systems. A 500-watt 55 Nm motor and 10.4 amp-hour battery, or the 750-watt 85 Nm motor and 14 amp-hour battery that we tested. On our step-over, the battery lives in the underside of the down tube and is secured with a keyed lock. The battery can be charged on or off the bike, and the charge port is protected by a rubber cover. The included 2 amp charger takes around 6 to 7 hours to fully charge the battery. The Express has a torque sensor and thumb-style throttle. The 3-button control pad lives next to the left grip, and the 4-inch color LCD display is mounted in portrait format in the middle of the bars. The display's angle can be adjusted by loosening the 2 screws that secure it to its mount. The Express arrives set up for Class 2, with both throttle and pedal assist limited to 20 miles per hour. You can change the pedal assist speed limit to 28 miles per hour, but the throttle stays at 20. The throttle can also be removed if your region doesn't allow a throttle with Class 1 or Class 3. The bike's electrical system is certified for compliance with UL 2849, and the battery is UL 2271 compliant. IP65 weatherproofing on the electronics means that this bike is ready for wet weather, and the frame can accommodate riders up to 330 pounds. There's also a rear cargo rack available for the bike, which costs extra and can carry 30 pounds. The Express rolls on 27.5-inch spoked aluminum wheels and 2.1-inch wide Chaoyang Arisun tires, with a smooth city-style tread and puncture protection. Lectric includes slime sealant for extra protection against flats, which is a nice touch. The bike has a quick-release front axle and nutted rear axle. Pedal power goes through a 46-tooth chainring with a double-sided aluminum guard to a 7-speed 11 to 28-tooth freewheel at the back, with a Shimano tourney derailleur. The Shimano TX50 shifter next to the right grip has an indicator that shows what gear you're in. Stopping is handled by unbranded dual-piston hydraulic brakes with 180mm rotors and aluminum brake levers with reach adjustment. The 700mm wide handlebar has a 40mm rise and is bolted to a 40mm stem. In addition to the aforementioned brake levers, control pad, and center-mounted display, there's also a pair of rubberized lock-on grips with ergonomic wings designed to reduce hand pressure. The other touch points are a Showwell VXV padded saddle and aluminum quick-release pedals that can be removed and refitted without tools for easier transport and storage. As I already mentioned, the Express comes with integrated front and rear lights. Neither these nor the optional Elite front light are anything to write home about. None of them is really adequate for riding at night. If you like to fit accessories like bottle cages to your bikes, you'll be happy to see that the Express has a bottle cage mount under the top tube and a triple mount on the down tube. It also has mounts for fenders and a rear rack. Both the fenders and rack are sold separately, but Lectric often runs promotions that include fenders and a rack. Hopefully these promotions will continue, Because without fenders and a cargo rack, this bike's value as a commuter is significantly degraded. The Express 750 climbed our small hill in 3 minutes and 4 seconds, at 19.1 miles per hour, putting it among the best performers in this test, ahead of the Radster Trail and Lectric Discover 2, and just 1 second behind the Lectric Summit 1. The Blix Ultra dominated this group, with a time of 2 minutes and 56 seconds. The medium elevation hill climb test produced similar results, at 2 minutes and 22 seconds and 16.5 miles per hour. The Express was one of the top performers. The Summit 1 was faster up this hill, and the Blix Ultra was 6 seconds faster. The Discover 2 was a fair distance behind at 2 minutes and 43 seconds, and the Radster Trail was left in the dust, needing a full minute more than the Lectric to get up this hill. The Express 750's motor continued to shine in our acceleration tests, where the Lectric hung with the best in the group. The only bike to beat the Express 750 down our drag strip was the Summit 1, and even that was only in the pedal assist test, where it beat the Lectric by 1 second. Both bikes took 8 seconds using their throttles. Using pedal assist, the Discover 2 set the same time as the Express. The range test proved disappointing for a couple of reasons. The first was the frankly almost useless battery meter, which I already covered. The second disappointment is this bike's battery range. In the Pedal Assist 5 test, the Lectric 750 was at the back of the pack, managing only 28.36 miles. Only the Vituvia SN100 with 22 miles fared worse. All the other bikes with 750 watt motors and 14 amp hour batteries traveled further, beating the Lectric by 1 to 6 miles. The second range test was even more disappointing, and I was shocked to find that the Lectric Express 750 traveled only 350 yards more than it managed in the Pedal Assist 5 test. This result puts the Express 750 way behind in the Pedal Assist 3 test. Normally in these tests, I get around 5 to 15 miles more in the Pedal Assist 3 test than the Pedal Assist 5 test. Diving into the settings, we can see that Pedal Assist 1 is limited to 9 miles per hour, and Pedal Assist 2 is limited to 15. But Pedal Assist levels 3, 4, and 5 all have the same 20 mile per hour speed limit. Even though there's some scope to tweak the Pedal Assist settings, none of them lowers the speed limit. So if you want to extend this bike's range by a useful margin, you have to drop all the way down to Pedal Assist level 2. In the braking test, the Express 750 needed 20 feet to stop, from 20 miles per hour, between 1 and 6.5 feet more than the other bikes that we've included in this review. Overall, however, the Lectric's braking performance was roughly on par with most similar bikes that we've tested. The biggest limiting factor for the Express 750's braking was the lack of grip from the tire's smooth tread, which resulted in the brakes easily locking up on any surface. This tire has probably been designed with more efficiency and durability in mind, and the brakes do have plenty of power, so tires with more grip in the center of the tread would probably shorten that braking distance. The Express was a refreshing change from the heavy, fat tire bikes that I normally test. Between the relatively relaxed geometry, easy handling, and natural pedal assist, it was very intuitive to ride, very much like, well, a regular bicycle. The Express's responsive torque sensor and 27.5 by 2.1 inch wheel set make it a pleasure to ride and maneuver. The application of power is a huge improvement on bikes with cadence sensors, whether rolling along on flats or climbing hills. The motor responds swiftly, with strong acceleration. I enjoyed climbing hills on this bike, and didn't feel like I had to work hard to get enough power out of the motor, even during our hill climb test up a 12-degree incline. The gearing is good up to 20 miles per hour, but it's too low when the top speed is unlocked to 28 miles per hour, with ghost pedaling from around 25 miles per hour. It's not impossible to pedal at 28 miles, but it just is really not practical, and it's only comfortable for short stretches. The bike can be pedaled at low speeds over level ground with the motor off. But you can forget about climbing hills on the XPress 750 without the motor's help. The bike's wheelset and athletic riding position work well on pavement, where the bike is maneuverable and fun in corners. It also performed fairly well on light trails. The greatest impediment on anything except clean, smooth tarmac is the slick city-style tire tread, which easily loses traction over gravel and dirt. If you want to ride this bike on trails, you'll need to fit tires with a more aggressive tread. With my 175 pounds aboard, I had no complaints about the suspension fork. It did a good job of absorbing bumps, and performs about as well as can be expected from a coil fork in this price range. The bike fit me well, with plenty of room left to raise the saddle further. The saddle should suit riders up to 6 feet 4, but as there's no scope to raise the handlebar or tilt the stem up, these riders would need to accept a more forward-leaning position, or change to a different stem. Unfortunately, the bike is far from quiet. The motor produces a very loud whine. And when pushed, it made some crackling sounds that I couldn't track down. And as with so many of these bikes, the drivetrain suffers from noisy chain slap over bumps. So it's not a bike that I would ride on rocky, rooty trails. Out of the box, there was little apparent difference across the top 3 pedal assist levels, with the bike reaching 20 miles per hour in pedal assist 3 to 5. Pedal assist 1 and 2 are noticeably slower and provide less assistance. The instructions are a bit confusing, and there is the option to tune what Lectric calls a multiplier, but there's no option to adjust the speed limit within each pedal assist level. You can either have the pedal assist limited to 20 miles per hour or 28, and that's what you get in pedal assist 3 to 5. This is disappointing, as it really limits the usefulness of these 3 pedal assist levels, both in terms of how it feels to ride the bike and the battery range that you get. Lectric offers fenders and a rear rack as additional accessories, but they were not included with the test bike. I especially missed the fenders. Despite the light tread pattern on the tires, the bike can throw up a lot of water and debris at 20 miles per hour. If you can get these items included for free during a promotion, it would greatly enhance the bike's utility. The XPress 750 has a 4-inch color LCD, which is mounted in the center of the bars in portrait orientation. It's a high contrast screen with bright colors and a simple layout that provides a lot of information, including the battery meter, motor output in watts, a speed display, the pedal assist level, odometer, and an info section, which lets you toggle between the odometer, trip voltage, controller current, and trip timer. This is controlled by the 3-button control pad, mounted by the left grip. There's no lock or pin code to prevent unauthorized use of the bike. The only way to do that is to remove the battery. There's no app for the XPress 750. Everything is done through the display. To access the advanced settings, you hold the plus and minus buttons down together. The advanced settings aren't intuitive or easy to use, as Lectric numbers them instead of using descriptive names. And you have to refer to the manual to know what each setting does. The instructions in the manual are clear, but given the lack of an app, it would be much better to have named menus in the display. As the manual explains how to adjust advanced settings, such as the speed limits and pedal assist limits, I'm not going to dive into the specifics here. If you want to know more, I've put a link to the manual in the description below the video. I was excited to test the Lectric XPress 750. It's a great looking bike, with a lot going for it, such as the solid build and easy setup. I loved its natural and intuitive ride style, the tuning of the torque sensor, and that powerful motor. However, the unreliable battery meter left me stranded and walking home. Also, the bike offers very little extra range in pedal assist 3, compared to pedal assist 5. And even though there's some scope to tune this, with the speed limit fixed at 20 miles per hour in all 3 pedal assist levels, I doubt it will make much difference. At the moment, I think the XPress 750 is fairly priced, But the value proposition here really depends on whether Lectric is including accessories like fenders and a rack for free when you buy the bike. With those included, this bike is good value. If they're not included, then there are better alternatives out there. If you can learn to live with the erratic battery meter by monitoring the voltage instead, and don't spend extra money on the disappointing Elite Light, you'll most definitely enjoy the Express 750's power, natural pedal assist, and easy handling. I know I sure did. Do you own a Lectric XPress? Whether it's the 750 watt or the 500 watt version, let me know what you think. Or if you've been considering this bike, what do you think of my pros and cons? It's great to hear from all of you, whether or not you're enjoying the bike. So keep those comments rolling in. And if you got this far, how about leaving me a thumbs up to let me know that you like the reviews? Or even better, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another bike ride review. I'll have another e-bike to share with you soon, so don't stay away for too long. And thanks for watching.